Welcome to This Explainer. Right now, the whole automotive world is undergoing this absolutely massive, rapid transformation. We're watching the industry pivot so aggressively toward electrification. And because of that, everyone's downsizing. They're moving away from those massive, roaring, large-capacity engines, trading them in for smaller six-cylinders, four-cylinders, or just going entirely electric. It kind of feels like an entire era of automotive engineering is quietly slipping away. But then, out of nowhere, a manufacturer decides to just swim against the current and build something totally unapologetic. And that brings us right to this staggering figure, 1.77 crore rupees. Yes, that is the ex-showroom price of the vehicle we're looking at today. I wanted to hit you with this number right out of the gate just to establish the incredibly high stakes we're dealing with here. I mean, at this price point, a vehicle can't just be a mode of transportation. No way. It has to be an absolute masterpiece of engineering, a status symbol, and an absolute thrill ride, all rolled into one. But here's the thing, this price tag doesn't just buy you extreme luxury. It buys you literally physics-defying speed. 4.3 seconds. That is the blistering 0 to 100 kilometers per hour sprint time for a vehicle that, frankly, weighs about as much as a small tank. It's just an extraordinary feat of mechanical engineering to take a heavy, incredibly luxurious family-sized vehicle and launch it with the sheer ferocity of a lightweight sports car. Okay, let's dive into this. The star of our explainer today is the all-new BMW X6 M60i xDrive. It just launched in India as a completely built-up, or CBU, import. So this isn't just another car rolling off a local assembly line. It is a flagship statement brought over fully intact. We're going to break down exactly what makes this specific model tick, why on earth it costs what it costs, and why it represents such a unique moment in modern automotive history. Moving on to Section 1, the V8 Beast returns. BMW themselves actually referred to this new X6 M60i as the Beast. And it's super important to understand the context behind that title. To really appreciate this car and its kind of rebellious existence in today's eco-conscious market, we have to look back at its origin story. The X6 is what we call a coupe SUV. Now, when BMW introduced the original X6 way back in 2008, the automotive world literally thought it was a crazy contradiction. People were asking, why would anyone combine the high-riding, bulky practicality of an SUV with the compromised sloping roofline of a sports coupe? It made zero logical sense. Yet, buyers absolutely loved it. It went on to create this entirely new, highly profitable segment, and suddenly you had competitors like Mercedes-Benz and Audi scrambling to build their own versions. The X6 actually disappeared from the Indian market for a little while, but now it's returned as one of the very few new V8-powered performance SUVs left in India. And let's be clear, BMW hasn't brought it back to be some practical family grocery getter. Not at all. It is positioned purely as an unapologetic, highly exclusive statement of performance and aggressive design for buyers who want something entirely different from your conventional luxury SUV. Which brings us to Section 2, Heart of the Beast. Let's peel back the bodywork for a second and look at the visceral engineering underneath. Because this is where the X6 M60i truly separates itself from almost everything else on the road today. We are talking about a newly developed 4.4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 pushing out a massive 523 horsepower and 750 newton-meters of torque. It sends all of that ridiculous power through an 8-speed Steptronic Sport automatic transmission straight down to the xDrive all-wheel drive system. So, the crucial point is that this intricate web of mechanical perfection is exactly what propels this incredibly heavy SUV to an electronically limited top speed of 250 kilometers per hour. It is quite literally brute force refined to a razor's edge. Let's turn our attention to Section 3, Hidden Performance Tech. But hey, it's not actually all just old-school, large displacement brute force. Beneath that massive V8, there's this layer of highly refined, almost microscopic electrical engineering that acts as the vehicle's secret weapon. The X6 M60i features a 48-volt mild hybrid system with an integrated starter generator positioned right smack between the engine and transmission. Now, unlike your standard hybrid that focuses purely on sipping fuel, just look at how this system operates. It allows for smoother engine restarts, sure, but it also actively assists the V8 during hard acceleration, supports the engine during gear changes to keep the power delivery completely seamless, and it recovers energy while braking. It's engineered specifically to reduce turbo lag and sharpen throttle response. Basically, it enhances the driving character instead of muting it. Let's look at the exterior in Section 4, the coupe SUV concept. When you compare a traditional SUV to a coupe SUV, the contrasts are pretty stark.
A traditional SUV gives you maximum practicality, right? A boxy shape and ample rear headroom. The coupe SUV, on the other hand, sacrifices a little bit of that rear headroom for an aggressive, sloping silhouette. And here is why this matters. The buyer of the X6 M60i gladly trades that tiny bit of practicality to get one of the absolute most distinctive and menacing stances on the road today. They aren't buying this thing to move furniture. They are buying it to make an entrance. And man, what an entrance it makes. BMW has updated almost every single visible detail while still retaining that classic silhouette. You've got this striking illuminated kidney grille with vertical double ribs, and it's flanked by these really slim adaptive LED headlights featuring arrow-shaped daytime running lights. Couple all of that with the M shadowline treatment, those massive 21-inch M alloy wheels, and gloss black exterior accents, and you just have an incredibly aggressive aesthetic that absolutely demands attention.
But stepping inside, the cabin is actually a stark contrast to the brute force of the exterior. It's a highly modernized digital command center. You're immediately greeted by the massive BMW curved display, which combines a 14.9-inch touchscreen and a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, all running BMW Operating System 8. It comes fully loaded with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, ventilated electric comfort seats, a crisp Harman Kardon surround sound system, and a huge panoramic glass roof. It's just an absolute cocoon of technology and luxury. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the insider features that Indian buyers get as standard. The CBU model in India comes standard with the M Sport Pro package, so that means you automatically get larger brakes with these eye-catching red calipers and a fantastic-sounding quad-pipe M Sport exhaust. But honestly, the real magic is the adaptive suspension. This system changes damping hundreds of times per second based on the road conditions, and it's paired with an xDrive system that redistributes torque between the front and rear wheels in literal milliseconds. It makes this massive, heavy vehicle feel impossibly nimble. All right, let's wrap things up with Section 5, Rivals and the Price. As we bring this explainer toward its conclusion, let's take a step back and contextualize the X6 M60i within the ultra-luxury battlefield. But before we even look at the rivals, it's worth noting the ownership logistics. BMW Financial Services actually offers smart finance plans for this 1.77 crore rupee vehicle. What really stands out here is that these plans offer an assured buyback value of up to 60% after 3 years, subject to some mileage limits and terms, of course. But it adds this fascinating layer of financial predictability to what is usually an inherently emotional, high-priced purchase. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what the X6 is up against. The market battlefield here includes some incredibly fierce German heavyweights. You've got the Mercedes-AMG GLE Coupe, the Audi SQ8, and the Porsche Cayenne Coupe. Against these absolute titans, the X6 M60i stands out by offering a highly specific blend of unmistakable coupe styling, a massive V8 engine, and BMW's signature balance of sporty handling combined with genuine everyday drivability. Which brings us to our final thought. You know, the X6 M60i is a potent reminder of what makes the M Performance lineup so special. And as emissions regulations keep getting tighter and tighter, this might truly be one of your very last chances to own a modern BMW V8 in a new production model. So here is the ultimate automotive dilemma. Would you spend 1.77 crore rupees on the roaring BMW X6 M60i, or would you pivot to the Porsche Cayenne Coupe or the Mercedes-AMG GLE Coupe instead? Think about what you value most in a high-performance machine, let us know your choice down in the comments, and keep learning.